G'day everyone. Okay, what I got here is two Volkswagen generators. Now, one of these, this one here, failed on me a while back, and didn't fail instantly. It was showing signs for a couple of months, especially if it rained overnight. Yeah, it'd take a couple of minutes, for the generator light to go off on the dash, which sort of grew to 10-15 minutes, and then eventually it just stayed on. So, but I can't really find a whole lot wrong with it. Like the wires, you can't really see in there, we don't have enough light, but there's a couple of wires sort of hanging around. We've got a few scores in around there, but like everything's intact. There's no broken wires or anything busted up. One I replaced it with, which is another second-hand one, come off another engine that I had. It's been working, but just recently the bearing's gone in the back. Well, that's the front actually. So yeah, the bearing's gone in the back of this, and it's been making a hell of a noise. And so I decided I'd swap the bearing. And when I pulled it apart, I remembered that when I put this on, the keyway was pretty chewed up. And I did clean it. I actually epoxied the keyway in. It didn't come out, I mean it stayed put. Well, it's a pretty tight fit on there, so like the whole. This is the pulley for your belt goes on here. However, the other one has a better shaft. There's no... the keyway's intact. However, it's very worn here. But I got a feeling that's not going to matter that much. What I'm going to do, because I'd rather use the one with the intact keyway. So I can actually put the bearing back on that. And yeah, get it in the vise. I don't know if it'll hold, but I'm hoping to find a way of spinning this so that I can just take this ridge down. Well, I could probably pull it down without spinning it, but yeah, I want to be careful, I suppose, because I'm not going to be touching the brush area. I'm just going to take this ridge off just to make sure the brushes actually seat properly on there, clean it up, clean this up with emery, and yeah, put this center back into the other outer. These are majorly heavy. You can see an advantage of going to an alternator just in weight saving. Like, you're not only carrying around this much weight, but you're trying to, spin the weight of this. Even the center's pretty heavy, like an alternator would be, lighter than just the center spindle of this generator, without all this other piece. But yeah, for one, I haven't got the money to buy another to buy an alternator, and secondly, there's a big advantage in reliability. A generator is way more reliable than an alternator. Of course, it requires a separate voltage regulator and whatever, whereas most alternators now have the voltage regulator built into them. But the advantage to a generator is if this has got an absolutely dead flat battery, I can clutch start it and it'll go. It'll run straight off the generator, no issues. You can't do that with an alternator. an alternator requires a charge to work. If your battery's absolutely dead flat, no charge at all, your alternator won't work, and yeah, you won't be able to start it, period. So that is the advantage to having a generator. Anyway, that's not what I was going to show you. I was going to show you how to disassemble it, and I should have actually set up the tripod and shown you the disassembly, but yeah, I didn't think of it. Anyway, what I started with, so I took out, these are the brush holders. They slide onto these tabs here. Hold the brush down. So I just grabbed them the pointed pliers, took them off, you pull your brush up. Do that on both sides. Right. Of course, you've got to get the nut off the back. That's yeah, pretty difficult in itself, getting all the getting way ahead of myself. Yeah, it's over there, the nut and the fan, because you got to anchor the front. You can't anchor it with a nut, and that'll just come undone. But you can. I put the whole thing in a vise, and I wedged a screwdriver. There's a slot in the pulley to this slotted area. You can put a screwdriver in there, a big one. You can wedge it against the bolt and anchor it, but you have to have the whole thing held securely in a vise. And yeah, that will lock it to get the nut undone off the back. Right, then once you've done that, there's two nuts on the ends of these bolts. These bolts come through from the front, like so. There's two nuts on there that hold your fan housing, the backing plate for the fan. You take them off, then you undo these two screws, and they are tight. And what I find is an impact driver is actually quite good. But you can get a standard handheld one that you hit with hammer, that'll do the job. But yeah, got a bit, nice sharp one, a socket extension. Yeah, that's how I got them undone. But yeah, you got to push them into, have this still held in the vise, push into it real hard, or it'll just jump out. And yeah, the rattle gun will bring them out. Okay, so once you got that out, you then get a block of timber, put it against your shaft, and you tap it from the front, and it comes out. It comes out like this, out the back of it. Okay, now these are really tight, and I actually used I've got a hydraulic press over there. I'll press them off. You probably could hammer them off, if you got something like, set that in something, even in a vise, but just not done up tight around the centre. You could tap it off, but yeah, you want to be real careful of that thread. So yeah, anyway, as I said, I took it off with the press, and underneath that, this is the plate that holds the bearings. The cover goes over that, so once you get that off with the bearing, you then undo. There's two more flathead screws, which are also tight. I tried to undo them just with a screwdriver, and that just wasn't going to happen. So once again, I got them out with a rattle gun. And then, yeah, your bearing's also tight in there. You got to tap it out. this piece was on there first. I don't know why it actually came out with the bearing, but it did. And then you got these pieces. There was only one on this, but that's just to hold the grease and the bearing. So this came in the other end, same deal. But that's actually a spacer, so yeah, that one will have to go back in. But yeah. Yeah, well, what I'm going to do, these are the bearings. There's the same bearing, front and rear. Or the same outer. I think they're the same inner. They look exactly the same. I'll check them with a micrometer before ordering them, just in case they are different, but they look to be exactly the same. So I'm going to replace them with a sealed roller bearing. Yeah, because this is why they've collapsed, is because the grease has been thrown out of there a long time ago and they're just running dry. And there isn't really any great way of holding the grease in there. You know, this is designed and made, yeah, before they made seal bearings. So yeah, just replace them with a seal bearing, you'll get 3 times the life out of them. And yeah, it was the same deal on the front. What I had to do was to get 2 bits of bar that fitted in between this plate. See, there was more room on the other plate. This is only copper anyway. Okay. Yeah, I did just notice that. That's closer than the other one. The other one had like an 1/8 of an inch gap. I was able to get 2 bits of angle bar under it and put it back on the press. But anyway, you can get it off with the hammer. You can just whack it off. And yeah, so I won't bother taking the bearing off because I'm not intending to use this shaft because it's got that chewed up keyway. Alright, I'm sort of all over the place here. Not a very organised video, sorry about that. And anyway, what I'll do for you is I'll get these 2 seal bearings and I'll set up the tripod and I'll show you the complete reassembly. Okay, thanks for watching my disorganised ramble. Okay, bye.